And that is why I am so excited to share for the first time in pretty much 15 years. Y'all, I cannot believe that we're having to sit down and truly have this conversation. It's gonna be a hard one, but I know we can get through it. A year ago, I posted a video kind of calling Cricut out to call Cricut up, and it got a lot of response. And the number one response was people in agreement saying, Tanner, yes, I thought it was just me. I thought it was me that was just experiencing this. But what we found was in the entire Cricut community, in the entire craft community that is utilizing Cricut tools, they were experiencing the same conundrums. They were experiencing almost apples to apples the same issues. And it was so disheartening to read over 1,000 comments of people pretty much standing in agreement with me. So from that video, we had direct responses from Cricut's CEO. We had follow-up. We had them saying, you know what? We need to go in and fix the software, which left me feeling at the end of that 2 to 3 week period like there was going to be some real significant change happening. And over the past year, it's kind of went quiet. And when companies get quiet, what usually is happening is that there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes. So I've been waiting and waiting and waiting and really giving Cricut plenty of time, in my perspective, to at least fix the bare minimums. And yes, if we got into the nitty-gritty, there is a lot that has been significantly improved, but there's still a lot to be improved to stay the leader and to really hold what I would consider first place in the craft industry as the leader and the innovator when it comes down to the software, the hardware, and all of the different tools. And one thing for sure is that right after these brand new Cricut Explorer machines and Cricut Maker machines have came out, there aren't many new things that happened with this refresh of the machines. It seems more like they knew they needed to sell a new machine, so they added a few different things, not too many to take notes on, but they just refreshed the machines in some really good colors, but it still left us feeling like there was more that they could have done and that really should be happening. And here's the thing. I am just a guy on the internet. I have no idea what Cricut has behind the scenes. I have high hopes for a company that I have been educating on for 15 years, teaching people how to use it for 15 years. So of course I have such high hopes for where the company is and where it can go. But the only thing that me and you as the consumer can judge this by is their track record and what has actually happened, and not just on a hope of something to come. And that is why I am so excited to share that for the first time in pretty much 15 years, I am going to be opening myself up to using more than just a Cricut machine. So many of you have asked me over the past couple of years, especially, Tanner, will you teach me how to use a silhouette? Tanner, will you teach me how to use the Juliet? Tanner, will you teach me how to use the Solo or the Xtool machines, or just so many other machines on the market? And for the first time ever, I am sitting here and I'm so excited to announce that we are going to be educating on other machines. Yes, I've used other machines. Yes, I've had other machines. I probably own a lot of these machines, if not all of the machines I've mentioned, we have in our studio. But I have been so dedicated, especially for the past 7 years, to help Cricut crafters where they're at get to where they want to be. But one thing I know for certain right now, in today's age, that Cricut needs to step up, because I feel, just as a creator and consumer, that if they don't step up fast enough, one of these other machines is going to jump ahead when it comes to innovation, and when it comes down to the true user pool will quickly sway. Because what we're seeing across the board is people are frustrated with their Cricut. They're not using it to the level they want to use it for numerous reasons. And I believe that you and me are looking for the next thing. So I want to tell you today that I'm going to be joining you on the hunt to figure out what is that next machine. I have quite a few ideas. I have quite a few things that I am very excited to dive into and talk to you about and share with you. But I want to tell you, as of today, we are kind of breaking up with our Cricut. We're not going to be in an exclusive relationship with our Cricut machines because we are going to start playing around, testing out, and really seeing what other machines are out there and how can our Makers Gonna Learn platform be utilized on these other machines. Because here's the thing. After the past few months of me really considering this move, looking at these machines, there's a lot of opportunity out there. Many years ago, for Courtney and I's wedding gift, me and her mom got her a Glowforge. And I was really intrigued about this machine. And it's a really interesting machine, but it's at a super, super high price point, especially when you start talking about any laser machine. And people had asked me 5 years ago to teach them about lasers, but I didn't think it was there yet. But as we've been able to see, Xtools bringing a lot of innovation, multiple machines to market, multiple tools to support your creative journey, I think we're getting closer and closer to being able to see what it would look like for me and you as typical everyday crafters who are money conscious that want to be able to create at a high, high level. They're going to be able to see something come to market. It was less than a year ago that we found that Cricut is also working on a laser machine, which I am personally very excited about. I want to be able to do more. I think us as a creative whole, right, as an industry, we are all craving something more than just paper, vinyl, and heat transfer vinyl. We love those materials. We love being able to do what we've typically done. But I think there is something out there right now in our soul, in our spirit, that we're ready for the next level. And in 2021 and 2020, I wasn't sure if we were ready for it. But as of today, I feel like everyone as a whole in the Cricut and craft community is craving it and looking for it. And that is why I'm so excited to announce that today we are going to be diving in to an array of machines. We are going to be testing behind the scenes. We are going to make videos about the machines that we are testing and exploring to test all the functionality. And of course, to answer many of people's question, I'm not truly breaking up with my Cricut machine. I will continue to use my Cricut, but I'm not going to be using it exclusively. And I think that's the difference. I am going to be looking and using the machine that I see fit in the time of what project I'm creating versus only using projects or creating projects that only highlight Cricut in the best of light or only being able to create on a Cricut machine. So for all the friends that are still in love with their Cricut, I see you. I want to continue to share and teach and educate on Cricut. And I truly believe that Cricut is so much further ahead than any of these other machines that they're probably going to come out and stay ahead of the game. That is my hope, that is my desire, but I'm not putting all my eggs in the Cricut basket. After hearing from so many of you, after wanting me to expand and bring the way that we teach at Makers Gonna Learn to some of these other machines, I'm so excited to dive in and play around. I feel like a kid again, being able to experiment and learn about all of these other machines and really getting to see how these other machines can benefit you as a crafter. So let's go ahead and dive in to what some of these other machines are on the market, some of the things that I'm looking forward to seeing with those, some of the pros, the cons. I think it's going to be really good. But before we do, I want to stop you. While you're watching this video, can you go ahead and leave me a comment down below and tell me what you would like to see me teach on? What machine are you eyeing to learn more about? What would you like to see me be able to experiment with, learn how to use, and bring some education on? Because I need to hear from you. You are why we craft. So if you need to know something, put it in the comment section right down below. Let me know what that machine is, and let's go ahead and dive into a comparison of some of the machines that I'm considering. In this comparison, I have to start off with Cricut because we love our Cricut machines. Like, as much as I'm saying I'm breaking up with my Cricut, or I may be breaking up with my Cricut, here's the deal. I love my Cricut. I have all the Cricuts. I probably have 20 Cricuts. So some of the things that has led me to be in love with the Cricut is the amazing software. And here is what we have to be very aware of comparing Cricut to any other machine on the market, except Silhouette, I would say, is that most companies that are trying to bring a new machine to market, they're bringing new software to market. And as much as there's a few errors with Design Space, if we're thinking about the easiest software to learn, Cricut Design Space is probably the leader. So if you're watching this video wondering if you should start with a Cricut, if you're still looking for your first machine, highly recommend getting an Explorer or a Maker and getting familiar with the software. What's been fascinating over the past couple of months as I've been diving in and looking at other machine software, you would not believe at how much Cricut's software and the way that they name their tools and the way that the software is laid out, people are just copying like straight from the Cricut playbook and copy and pasting into their software. So Cricut truly is still showing so many signs that they are the leader in the industry. For example, other companies have came out with their own mats for their machines, and they just copy the same colors that represent the fabric grip, light grip, heavy grip, things like that. So it is fascinating. So when you're really considering your machine, some of the pros of Cricut is their easy to use software, their thriving community of fellow crafters, the wealth of information available on the internet, which is so available and it's so awesome. I mean, I've been posting videos almost every day for 7 years. So if you need to know anything about the Cricut, you can probably find it. And if you are still wanting comprehensive training, we have it in our membership. So you can always get plugged in, one low cost, get all my education, and you would really love it. So check out the membership down below. Now, when it comes to cons, the limited power. As we're seeing more innovation, we're seeing machines that can do so much more than just a Cricut machine. We're seeing machines that can cut paper, that can cut heat transfer vinyl, that can do vinyl, but they also can cut through MDF. They can also cut through wood and like at a really good level. So it's really, really interesting. So if you're even dabbling on, do I need 2 machines? Do I need 1? We're going to kind of go through that in the upcoming months. So stick with me. And as we compare machines that are more like apples and oranges rather than apples to apples, which will be super fun. Next up, let's talk about Silhouette. Silhouette's been on the game for many years, probably as long as Cricut or very similar. Silhouette has actually invited us 2 years in a row to their like big consumer event where they invite influencers and retailers to come and see what they've got going on. One thing about Silhouette is that they have very advanced software. Their software does not require necessarily a subscription compared to Cricut Access. But when you start diving into their software, it's not as consumer friendly. It's not as user friendly as you would see in Cricut Design Space. I truly feel like you have to have like a design degree, like being able to use Illustrator or Photoshop by Adobe to really be able to use and thrive in Silhouette Studio. Because where a lot of these other companies are getting their innovation is from just looking at Cricut Design Space, Silhouette came to market and they said, you know what? We need to bring the tools that are available in Photoshop or Illustrator, and we need to put that in Silhouette Studio at our own level. So it is a little bit more of an advanced software. It takes a lot longer to learn, but some of the things that are interesting about Silhouette is that you can cut thicker material. There are more things that you could do, and people really, really do enjoy their silhouettes. Like if you are someone who wants to be able to work with material and software that is not cloud-based and being able to have a little bit more functionality when it comes to your software tools, that is available in Silhouette, and definitely something to consider is why they have such a mass market is a lot of designers that really love the flexibility in the software. Where I don't think it's as important to have such a huge ability to do all of that inside the software, I would just use another tool and then export it into Design Space. So I just have a different way of doing things as a seasoned Cricut professional. Then we had Caesar enter the crafting game when it comes to machines with their Juliet and Romeo combo machines. So they have the Juliet, which is the smaller one, and the Romeo, which is the larger one. And when it comes to these machines, what I keep hearing people say over and over is Tanner, the print and cut is game changer. Tanner, the print and cut is fantastic. Tanner, have you seen how fast it cuts? Like the machine is very, very impressive. Where these machines need to, in my opinion, step up and really see improvement is probably in user functionality, and that will probably happen as they get more users. So that's why it's going to be so hard for another machine company to kind of show up and really try and get leaps and bounds ahead of Cricut, where Cricut has millions of customers. That is one of the biggest hurdles I see in when people write into me on our customer service inbox, YouTube comments, things like that. Is Tanner, can you teach me the software because I have no idea what I'm doing? And from what I am aware, there's just not many Juliet and Romeo customers as of yet. But from what I have heard and seen with my own two eyes, is that these machines really shine when it comes to print and cut. And one thing I know about you crafters is you gotta have your advanced print and cuts. If you wanna do 12 by 12, if you wanna do really great print and cut, that should be available on all machines like Cricut. I think this machine is going to really shine in that light, and I'm excited to test it out and see what I think and bring you the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, and everything in between. Okay, next up is Xtool. And Xtool is the one machine that I'm like, if you have Cricut here and you have Glowforge over here, you have Cricut at $400, you have Glowforge at probably $8 to $10 to $12,000. They kept increasing their prices for a little bit, and I'm like, I have no idea how much it is anymore. But you need to find something that's like in the middle, that's like actually usable, that their software is similar. That is where Xtool has been really shining and really excited for me to play around with and see what it would look like for a Cricut crafter like yourself and me to be able to go to our next level by utilizing a really fun laser machine. Now, inside of Xtool's M1 Ultra, they have the laser and blade cutting in one machine, which is super game changer. So you can do a laser, you can do the fine point blade wrapped up in all of one machine. And I love their, what I have been calling it, clamp A and clamp B. I'll talk more about this in other videos, but it is really, really fun to be able to see how you can take your 10 or 20 watt laser out of the machine and just pop in a printer. Like y'all, there are some really interesting and innovative things happening when it comes to Xtool, specifically the M1 Ultra, which we have in our studio, and they actually sent us almost a year ago, and we never really got to dive in with. We have been playing around with it. I think you're going to be impressed with how similar and how innovative it is at the same time, which is what I am most excited about. Some of the things I've been able to do has been really exciting for me, being able to cut such thicker material with such ease. We all know cutting basswood or balsa wood with our Cricut Maker series machines, usually one time out of every 3 or 4 times using it, there's a craft fail. This is not so. It is thriving cutting the MDF, cutting the wood, cutting all of those materials like acrylic. It is a game changer, and I think you're going to be really impressed with it. It does have a higher ticket price, but nowhere near a super 5-figure price. We are still in the price range of $1,000 to $2,200 top line, and that's getting you almost everything. So lots of things to consider when making that decision, and there's a lot to discuss when it comes to that. In summary, you can get a crafting machine for as low as, my consideration is like a Cricut Joy Extra, which comes in around $129, or you could spend all the way up to multiple thousands of dollars. And this is what I love about the creative craft community, is that you could spend as little as $100 or as much as thousands of dollars to get a really fun crafting machine. And that is what I'm excited to announce today, is that we are not going to just be teaching on one machine. We are going to be taking on the excitement of exploring and seeing what other machines are out there and what can serve us best as crafters. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I really want to hear from you. If you want me to teach on any machine that you've been eyeing, drop me a comment down below. This is only going to make our Makers Gonna Learn community even better. Y'all, adding more machines, more innovation only ever serves one person, and it's me and you, the consumers, right? It is going to be a lot of fun. I cannot wait to see where this takes us. It is going to be an absolute blast. So until then, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the Makers Gonna Learn YouTube channel if you love crafting. We are so excited to craft alongside you for many, many years to come. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.